Yung po yung mga basura na ng mga damit na imbis na i-recycle, meron kasi mga scheduled for discarding used clothings sa iba't ibang bansa at pinipick up para i-recycle, pero instead na i-recycle, pinapadala itong basura. We have PD 2033 in 1986 na sinasabing bawal ang pagpasok ng used clothing sa bansa. We have RA 4653 na sinasabing bawal ang pagpasok ng mga used clothing sa bansa except to donate sa mga victims ng calamities. At bakit nagkalat itong ukay-ukay sa iba't ibang parte ng Pilipinas? And BIR and Customs not doing about it. May kinikita ba tayo BIR? Alam niyo ba kung sinong pumapasok, nagpapasok nito mga ukay-ukay? Ni Singkong Duling, wala kinikita tayo dito. That's why I passed a resolution, a bill na para buwesan na itong ukay-ukay para pagkakitaan naman ng ating gobyerno. But for now, I challenge the BOC and the BIR do something. Kaya nga pinagbawal yan, alam niyo itong batas na ito, dahil it can cause diseases. Those are used clothing. Yun ay mga tinapon na sa basurahan. Tinapon na yan sa dumpsters. At pinulot ng mga magagaling na Pilipino sa ibang bansa at may contact sila para i-ship dito libre. Thank you, Mr. Chair. The reason why I attended today's hearing kasi nakita ko sa resolution nabanggit doon special economic zone. And that's where I'm very interested in. Kasi po, ginagago tayo for the longest time nitong mga locator sa special economic zone. And I'll tell you later how and why. Mr. Chair, meron ba tayo na-invite dito ng mga taga Bureau of Customs? Kasi Bureau of Customs and BIR are conniving para mag-proliferate itong mga bogus na locators. And they're not paying taxes. They import products, raw materials, free of duties and taxes with the precondition that those raw materials will be re-exported. But hindi po na-re-export. Paper export lang po ang nangyari. And then, binibenta dito locally yung mga finished product or sometimes yung raw materials. And yung mga importers, supposed to be, kikita yung bayan natin dahil sa kanilang income tax. Pero paano? Namamonitor ba ng BIR? Itong mga may-ari ng locators? How does the BIR monitors these locators? Kasi the only time that we make money, the country makes money is through the income tax being paid by these locators. In fact, I have list here of some companies na may violation na sa BIR and I need to know ano na ang nangyari sa mga kasong ito. And I need from the BIR a list of these locators na padalahan ng LOA, Letter of Authority. Ano ang follow-up? May nangyari ba o nagkaaregluhan? Ang LOA, Mr. Chair, dito nagiging talamak ang korupsyon. Pinapadala ng sulat ang earring company o locator para pumunta sa opisina ng BIR, magpakita ng mga dokumento na siya ay nagbayad at nag-comply sa requirement ng BIR para magbayad ng tamang buwis. At pagdating doon sa BIR, nagkakaregluhan. That's why I need a list of those companies that were issued LOA and what happened to it. I need a list of those. And then, gusto ko rin po malaman kung meron ng mga nakasuhan na napadala ng letter of authority. Meron na bang nakasuhan o hanggang warning lamang? Kung may nakasuhan, anong nangyari sa kasong yon? Another issue, Mr. Chair, na gusto ko i-raise ay yung ukay-ukay na pumapasok sa PEZA, Special Economic Zone, declared as raw materials to make rugs or to recycle rugs. Pero wag ka, ang laman noon, ukay-ukay. Libre sa buwis. Ni Singkong Duling walang binabayad na buwis. And then mind nyo, yung ukay-ukay na yon, Those are discarded second-hand or used clothing sa ibang bansa, Hong Kong, Japan, US, Canada, Australia. Yun po yung mga basura na ng mga damit na imbis na i-recycle, meron kasi mga scheduled for discarding used clothing sa iba't ibang bansa at pinipick up para i-recycle, pero instead na i-recycle, pinapadala itong basura. We have PD 2033 in 1986 na sinasabing bawal ang pagpasok ng used clothing sa bansa. We have RA 4653 na sinasabing bawal ang pagpasok ng mga used clothing sa bansa except to donate sa mga victims ng calamities. At bakit nagkalat itong ukay-ukay sa iba't ibang parte ng Pilipinas? And BIR and Customs are doing about it. May kinikita ba tayo, BIR? Alam niyo ba kung sinong pumapasok, nagpapasok nito mga ukay-ukay? Ni singkong duling, wala kinikita tayo dito. That's why I passed a resolution, a bill na para buwesan na itong ukay-ukay para pagkakitaan naman ng ating gobyerno. But for now, I challenge the BOC and the BIR do something. Kaya nga pinagbawal yan, alam niyo itong batas na ito, dahil it can cause diseases. Those are used clothing. Yun ay mga tinapon na sa basurahan. Tinapon na yan sa dumpsters. At pinulot ng mga magagaling na Pilipino sa ibang bansa at may contact sila para i-ship dito libre. Ito po, Mr. Chair. I need to ask the BIR directly right now. Victoria Wave Special Economic Zone dyan sa may Caloocan. And in October 2021, July 13, excuse me, pumunta po yung mga taga-BIR para inspect itong binanggit kong kumpanya dahil sa tadtad na violation. Ang tanong, ano na nangyari doon sa pagbisita ng BIR noong July 13 dito sa company ito, OPMC? Meron ba isang matapang dito? Go ahead, please.
Good morning, Senator Raffy. I apologize, Your Honor. We don't have the information right now, but we are already asking the concerned Revenue District Office, which conducted the investigation, to provide us information, and we will provide the committee once the data or information are available.
Meron pang isa. Si Commissioner Romeo Lumagul Jr., he was the one who inspected the factories inside the One Subic Premier Manufacturing Corporation. Okay? At marami siyang nakitang tadtad na violation. What happened to that inspection? Anong naging resulta? Show it to us. Show it to us na hindi moro-moro lang yung ginawa niyang mga inspection. Kasi, Mr. Chair, meron po ako suggest. Siguro it's about time the Congress and the Senate should have an oversight committee na lahat ng LOA na ini-issue ng BIR at Bureau of Customs kinakailangan monitored natin. Kasi dito sa letter of authority, ang kumikita lamang yung earring officials, yung earring companies na napadala ng LOA at yung agency nag-issue ng LOA. Example, Mr. Chair. Ang deficiency is 1 million. For the sake of argument, nilitang ko lang. 1 million, papadala ng LOA. Magre-report kayo na padala ng LOA. Sasabihin, boss, yung 1 million hindi ko kaya, etc., etc. Sasabihin ng agency na padala ng LOA, magkano kaya mo? Boss, ang kaya ko lang is 20,000. Dagdagan mo. Boss, ang kaya ko lang 100, last. O sige, yung 900 discounted na. Pero yung 100,000, 50 for you and 50 for the government. Maghahati yung agency at kung sino man nagpadala ng LOA at sabihin yung kalahati, kahit papaano may resibo, kikita ang gobyerno. Ganon po yung kalokohan sa LOA. Alam niyo po itong taga-BIR at taga-Bureau of Customs. That's the reason what I would like to happen, Mr. Chair, you being the chairman committee, and I'm being the vice, na dapat magkaroon na talaga. Sir, excuse me, I'm talking. Paano ko makakonsentrate, sir, kung nagsalita ka na? Well, then, you want to talk? Go ahead, sir. Okay. Sa Ways and Means Committee, Mr. Chair, siguro it's about time mag-create tayo ng natawag na oversight to make sure lahat po ng LOA ay legit, hindi po ginagamit para lamang mangikil, para magamit lamang sa corruption. And we have a member of the PEZA here, Mr. Terezo. Okay, ano po kayo dun sa PEZA?
Sir, I am the Director General of PEZA.
Ilan po ang locator sa PEZA ninyo?
There's about more than 3,000 locations.
Now, don't tell me, dyan sa 3,000 locators ninyo, walang violators dyan na flag down ng customs at BIR. Don't tell me. Meron, tama? Mali.
Well, we have been receiving copies of the laws issued by BIR and BOCs. So we're willing to...
Kaya nga, so what happened to those LOAs?
Wala po akong feedback from the...
See? You see, Mr. Chair? Ano na yan sa mga LOAs? Wala pa kasi nagkaaregluhan na. At alam mo yung sinasabi kanina, Mr. Panga, mag-import ng raw materials free of duties and taxes with the condition na yan i-re-export. At doon kikita ang gobyerno dahil magpapile ng income tax yung may-ari ng locator. Kaya dapat BIR, lahat na may locator, minomonitor ninyo. Yung ini-import ng, tuturang ko kayo, kuha kayo ng ballpen na papel. Hindi ako nabibiro. Get pencil and paper. Lahat ng mga ini-import ng mga locator, kasi free of duties and taxes yan. I'll give an example. Mag-export ng 1 million worth of, say, tela para gawin ng long sleeve. Kasama sa tela dyan, kung ilang yarda, nandyan yung butones, sinulid, etc. 1 million. Sa kondisyon yan ay i-re-export after na magawa na. Pero wag ka, hindi i-re-export yan. Kasi nga, wala nga naman talagang silang processing factory in the first place. At bakit na-aprobahan ng customs? Now, dapat yan, sa scheduled re-exporting ng finished product, nandyan dapat yung BIR, binubuksan yung container. Tama? At kung nakalusot man yan, yung may-ari ng locator, tatanungin mo, yung pinasok mo na worth 1 million na raw materials, may records dyan, may computation kayo dapat dyan kung magkano yan kapag naging finished product na. Finished products, those materials. And then magkano maging income tax ng locator. Ganun lang po kasimple. Kaso, Mr. Chair, hindi nangyayari eh. Kaya dapat, it's time that we have to revisit our law regarding these locators because it's being abused. It's being abused. Meron pang isang locator dito sa may bandang Caloocan, Mr. Chair. Paano tayo hindi ma-high blood dito, Mr. Chair? Libre ang importation ng kahit anong produkto. And then kapag nire-export, libre, exempted sa corporate tax. Sana ma. Saan ka nakita niyan? At pwede pa sila maka-discount sa mga empleyado. Andito lahat. We have to revisit this law that created these locators. Ulitin ko, libre, tax, walang duties and taxes sa pagpasok ng raw materials para gawing finished product. Ang raw materials na yon. Pag na-export na, halimbawa talagang na-export, ang kikitain lang sana ng gobyerno sa income tax ng kumpanya na yon. Pero, in-exempt natin yung corporate income tax. And adding insult to injury, pati sa mga empleyado, allowed sila na magkaroon ng discount sa bayad. Pwede sila mag-underpay. Totoo yan. And I have proof. We have to revisit that law. Andito si Attorney Agnes de Benadera. Ma'am, kumusta po dyan sa SBMA? SBMA kayo, tama? Ay, sorry, Clark.
Sa Clark
Tama?
po, sa Clark po.
So, ilan na po ang mga na-issuean ng LOA dyan sa Clark, sa pagkakaalam nyo?
Mr. Senator, wala po akong hawak na listahan. Pero alam ko pong merong mai-issuehan. Kaya lang po, hindi po, I have to be very candid na wala po ako.
Kaya nga, pero di ba dapat ma'am, pag merong mga na-issuean, mga violators, dyan, you should be concerned and you should be updated. Para malaman mo kung sino dyan mga house show or mga illegal. And then that's where you have to act. Kung nakita nyo na ito, paulit-ulit na issue ng LOA, and then something must be wrong with this locator, and then I have to cancel this locator permit. Am I right? O am I right?
Mr. Senator, doon po sa Clark Development Corporation, meron po kaming division, yung TFB, na sinasabi namin. And they are in charge of monitoring all the importations of raw materials. Yung po sinasabi niyo, tama po kayo doon. At meron din pong proseso na ginagawa yung aming TFD division para po makita kung ang raw materials na in-import ay naipasok dun sa finished products. Meron pong ganon. And in fact, Mr. Senator, it is, we have on several occasions suspended the authority to operate, Mr. Senator.
Okay, Attorney De Vinadera, marami sa mga locators nyo dyan sa Clark na wala silang processing factory. Right? You agree? Kasi pag sinabi mo you don't agree with me, then mapapahiya po kayo, madam.
Meron po kaming mga na-monitor na hindi walang operations. At kung mga walang operations ay amin pong inaaksyonan na hindi mabigyan ng authority to operate kasi wala pong operations.
Salamat at hindi po kayo nagsinungaling. Kaya nga po, ang ibig sabihin, marami mga locators sa Pilipinas, sa different special economic zone, na nabigyan ng permit na hindi dapat sapagkat wala silang processing plant. Kasi ang condition yan, the raw materials are imported free of taxes and duties for you to process it into finished product para ma-re-export at kikita ng Pilipinas. Pero how can they process that when they don't have a planta? And alam yan, nyo dyan sa SBMA, alam ng BIR, alam ng Bureau of Customs. Naglulukan tayo. We have to stop this. Kailangan maimbestigahan talaga to, Mr. Chair. Itong mga free special economic zone, dito po talamak, billions and billions of pesos every year ang nawawala sa gobyerno, andyan sa special economic zone. Ang kumikita lang yung mga smuggler at ilang mga taga-customs at BIR. Mr. Chair, sana po magkaroon pa ng isang hearing na next time patawag po natin ang Bureau of Customs. Last question lang po sa mga taga-BIR since nandito kayo. Ilan na po ang mga LOA na issue ninyo sa mga sa mga locators? How many LOAs? Magkano pong pinakamataas na diferensya? At ano po nangyari doon? I need a list.
Mr. Chair,
Can you provide us?
Senator Raffy, we will include that information po when we submit the requested information next hearing or as soon as possible. As soon as
And then
we get the information.
You should have a list of all the locators in the whole Philippines.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Libo yan. So, ang tanong ko sa'yo, meron ba kayong way para ma-monitor kung ilan itong mga locators na ito? Nasaan sila?
The investment promotion agencies are mandated to submit the list of locators in their respective jurisdictions. So we can have that list, Your Honor.
And then, paano po na ma-monitor na itong mga locators na ito ay nagbabayad ng buwis? Is there a way for you to monitor that?
Yes, sir. They are along with the one of the information that they have to submit to BIR are tax payments. So we can have that as well.
Nadudoktor naman po yung tax payments. I'll tell you what, Mr. Balastre III. Pag sa scheduled exportation nila ng kanilang finished products, alam naman ng Bureau of Customs, puntahan nyo, especially itong mga high-valued sinasabing raw materials na pinasok na walang tax na binayad. Yung scheduled exportation nila, puntahan nyo, pabuksan nyo yung container. 10 out of 10, walang laman yung container kung meron man basura. Kaya ang tawag dyan, ghost exportation or paper exportation. Totoo yan. Halos karamihan, hindi na lumalabas ng bansa. Kung meron man, kalahati lang, pero yung kalahati, may benta na sa labas. Watch out for those. Yan lang po muna, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator Tulfo, for that opening statement. A few items that you mentioned, and the committee will take note of the items that you mentioned in your opening remarks. In fact, I was just conferring with the head of our Senate Tax Research Office. Indeed, part of our powers in the oversight is to request for the letter of authority from the BIR. And in fact, in the past, I was advised that the LOAs are being submitted to the committee as part of its oversight functions. So,
Meron na tayong LOA, Mr. Chair. Meron na tayong oversight committee para sa mga LOA.
meron tayong oversight committee here in the Senate. There are two, no? The one prescribed by the law is a joint oversight. However, I mentioned earlier that was not created because the House has not yet manifested their members. So we created our own here in the Senate. motu proprio through the Senate Committee Ways and Means. And because of its function as oversight, the BIR regularly submits to the committee a list of that LOA that you mentioned earlier. And the latest submission was when? Okay. But in the past, they have submitted. So since you have manifested your request and desire for the BIR to submit a summary and a list of their LOA, we are instructing the BIR to submit to the committee a list of the letter of authority that were issued to date.
Mr. Chair, nabanggit yung pangalan ito.
Si head ho natin yan. Head ho natin. Ng STSR.
So, meron ng mga sinabmit na LOA sa Senate. Nasaan yung mga LOA na yan? Can I see it? And then, I just need to look at it and then make a follow-up what happened to those LOAs. Kasi 9 out of 10 yung mga LOA na yon na-reglo na.
I was advised, Senator Tulfo, that the submission is in line with the compliance to the oversight. But since the oversight has not yet been convened, so there's no submission. But in the past, the past Senate, yung mga dating Senate, it's been traditionally being submitted. No? So ngayon, since you've requested for that submission, we're now directing the BIR to submit all the LOA. Anong gusto nyo? Last 5 years?
Yes.
Last 3 years?
In the last 3 years, and then dapat meron tayong assigned na group of people na para gumawa po ng thorough follow-up, anong nangyari sa mga LOA na yon, magkano kinita ng gobyerno kung meron man out of those LOAs, at kung wala, then dapat may makasuhan.
That's also what I asked the head of our STSRO, that the LOAs, submission of the LOAs is one thing, the analysis is the most important. So we're also directing the STSRO to analyze the submission and to give us their analysis as well as recommendation, and also furnish a copy of that analysis to the members of this committee.
Mr. Chair, madali lang naman yun. Alam mo, pinadalang LOA si ABC Company dahil meron siyang deficiency worth, say, para mas mapabilis tayo, 1 million. Then, sasabihin natin si BIR, ano nangyari sa LOA ni ABC nung pinadala such and such date, ano ang naging result, magkano binayad niya para sa gobyerno. And I'm telling you, Mr. Chair, sa 1 million halimbawa, ang pumunta sa gobyerno barya. Pero ang pumunta doon sa agency, people in that agency nagpadalang LOA, yun yung dambuhalang pera ang pumasok sa kanilang bulsa. Na short change yung ating gobyerno. Kaya sinasabi ko yung LOA na yan, Mr. Chair, it's about time i-monitor natin sa Senate. Dahil dyan nagkakapera ang maraming loko-loko at the expense of our government. Kawawa naman ating gobyerno. Lalo dito sa may ukay-ukay, Mr. Chair, not a single penny being paid. Not a single penny. Kumikita lang dito yung operator. And alam ng BIR, alam ng customs, nandiyan nagkalat, gala-gala kayo kahit sa lugar. Oo nga, kasi abot ka ng mga mahirap. Pero isipin din natin na namamatay din yung ating garment industry because they cannot compete. Itong mga ukay-ukay, napakamura. So itong mga local manufacturer ng RTWs, they can no longer compete. Some of them shut down even years ago. Ilan na kaya yung mga RTW factory locally na nag-shut down dahil nga hindi kami mag-compete sa ukay-ukay. Alam natin na meron dyan na illegal at hindi nagbabayad ng tax, and yet we allow them to proliferate. And we're not doing anything. There's a law. PD 2033, 1986, RA 4653, 1966. Merong pagkakakulong ito, 2.5 years eh. 2.5 years to 2 years, fine of 20,000 pesos. This was back in 1966 pa. Dapat ngayon milyon at makulong pa ng ilang taon. Yun lang, Mr. Chair, we have to watch out those LOAs. And then, last na lamang, itong sa Caloocan, i-revisit natin yung pagbigay ng lisensya sa kanya. Mr. Chair, free na siya sa pag-import ng raw materials. And then pagdating sa pag-export niya, binibigyan siya ng tax break sa corporate income tax niya. So, lilitaw, zero. Ano pang kinita ng gobyerno natin dito? Adding insult to injury, binibigyan din siya ng break as far as pagsisweldo sa mga manggagawa. Libre pumasok yung kanyang mga kargamento. At kapag inilabas yan, libre din siya sa tax. Anong kagaguhan itong nangyari sa ating bayan? Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator Fu. I do agree that we all know this, and any honest taxpayer will probably notice that the LOA is being weaponized by some unscrupulous individuals. And let's call a spade a spade. No? And that's why I support the suggestion of Senator Raffy Tulfo to come up with an analysis on these LOAs being submitted in line with the oversight powers of the Senate. And that's why we're requesting and directing the BIR to submit to us all the LOAs in the last 3 years, and we're directing the SDSRO to analyze and come up with recommendations to that effect. In the same manner, I also heard the good senator mentioned also ghost exportation and ghost and paper exportation. This should not happen because anything that goes out of the PEZA should pay customs duties as well as VAT. But obviously something is happening.
Mr. Chair, correction. Free po yung importation. Pero pag in-export na yan, wala pa rin silang babayad. However, doon sa income tax nung exporter. Kaso nga, wala namang lumalabas. And then hindi na monitor ng BIR kung magkano yung na-export kung meron talaga. So kung sasabihin ng exporter ng locator, ang na-export ko lang piso, doon siya magbabayad sa halagang piso. Pero wag kang in-export niya 100 million. Niloloko ang BIR. Yung BIR, kunyari, nagtatanga-tangahan sa magkano kadahilanan. And then another thing pa, BIR, you guys are listening, customs banded warehouse. Kaya na dapat may mga taga-customs dito, Mr. Chair. Isa pa yan na inaabuso. Same concept. Libre ang mapapasok ng mga raw materials, and then finished product, i-export, magbabayad na tax yung may-ari ng custom banded warehouse. Ang tanong ko po sa inyo sa BIR, ilan ba ang nasa listahan nyo ng mga customs banded warehouse? You should have that.
Sorry, Your Honor, we don't have the information, but we can have it also.
Pero aware ka na there's such thing as customs
Yes, sir.
banded
Yes,
warehouse. At in your experience, nakakarinig ka na mga taga-customs banded warehouse na issue ng LOA.
I think so, Your Honor. Yes.
Then when you come back next time, then show me those LOAs. And I'm very interested to know what happened to those LOAs.
Yes, Your Honor.
Paano sila hinandel?
Yes,
Paano
actually,
tumitang
yes.
gobyerno doon sa LOAs that was issued to these customs banded warehouse? Dalawa yun, Mr. Chair. Meron tayong sa PEZA at meron tayong customs banded warehouse. Yung special economic zone, sa loob ng special economic zone, nagtatayo siyang locator. Itong customs banded warehouse, kahit na dyan sa gilid-gilid, pwede sila magtayo. Andito pala, Mr. Chair, si Mr. Ralph Di Parin.
Good morning.
Mr. Di Parin.
Good morning, Senator Tulfo and Senator Gatchalian.
Ikaw pala, diyan ka lang, tahimik ka lang pala kanina. Hindi ka ba tumas ng kamay?
I would
Pwede ba natin siya ipa-under oath, Mr. Chair?
If the senator requests, we will request the committee to conduct an oath to the representative of BOC. May I directly Secretariat to conduct this oath to the representative of the BOC.
Kayo po tayo. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this public hearing?
Please acknowledge to the mic.
Yes, I do.
Right, go ahead, sir.
Sir Ralph, ilan po, more or less, ang nasa listahan ng Bureau of Customs na mga customs banded warehouse?
Mr. Chair, Mr. Senator, actually, I am not. I don't have the information right now, but I can ask the proper office po.
Okay. Para
I
maniwalagan
apologize.
tayo lahat kasi kanina pa ako nagbabagit na customs banded warehouse, yung special economic zone, import, and then export, etc. Mas maganda manggagaling sa'yo. Paano natin-treat? How do you treat yung customs banded warehouse? Yung proseso, pagpasok ng raw materials, titingin ka pa sa libro. Ako, alam ko na, hindi na ako titingin sa libro mo.
Mr. Senator, I'm actually, I have to be frank po. Bagong hire lang din po ako so I'm still learning pa po actually.
Pag dumating po yung container nitong sa customs banded warehouse, pinapasok, nilalodge po yan sa EM2. E2M. Matapos may lodge sa E2M na sinasabi ko anong raw materials at saan pupunta. Dapat yan, guarded yan sa samahan ng customs police papunta dun sa bodega. Pero kadalasan, hindi na sinasamahan. Bahala ka na dyan. Pag-usapan na. At dapat pagdating doon sa bodega, i-prepare na yan for processing. kaso doon sa bodega, wala namang processing plant, wala namang equipment to process that raw materials. Tama? Dapat periodically, kayo dyan sa Bureau of Customs, nag-inspect lahat ng mga may customs bonded warehouse. Kasi yung iba, Mr. Chair, para mabigyan silang permit, mag-rent sila talaga ng bodega at nandyan yung processing plant. Renta lang. After na ma-inspection, na-aprobahan, after 2 months, ililet ko na yung parang show factory lang. Dapat yun. Mano-mano, dapat computerized na. The moment nag-file ng entry, up to dating sa bodega na dapat may CCTV, and then up to after na yun po ay na-process, hanggang sa yun po ay i-re-export, tinatawagan niyo po yung BIR to let the BIR know na yung mga produktong pinasok ng libre sa tax, eto na, pwede nyo nang kalkulahin yung buwis. Nag-guess po. Kaya nga, technical. Saka bago ka lang siguro, kahapon ka lang pumasok.
Few months pa lang po.
Kasi bumukas ka na libro eh. Sige. Wala na. There's no point.
I
Sorry,
apologize po,
I
Mr.
don't blame it.
Senator.
There's no point talking to this gentleman. Pinadala dito yung talagang walang alam para hindi gawin tayo. Di ba, I don't blame you, sir. I don't blame you. I'm not gonna talk to you anymore kasi ayaw kong lalo ka matiin dito. Sorry. It's okay.
Pasensya na po, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Senator.
Yes, sir. Okay po, sir.
But I will take note po kung ano po yung mga ano pa po.
Kung sino
yung mga
nagpadala
pwede
dito sa-
niyong, hingiin na data po. I can of course it to the proper office po.
Sir, sino nagpadala sa'yo dito?
Legal service po, Senator.
Pagalitan mo.
Duly noted po.
Dapat siya dito nang nanginginig, hindi ikaw. Ikaw yung bago, ikaw ang pinaka-bago, ikaw yung pinadala dito.
Yes po, duly noted po, Mr. Senator.
Okay, sige po. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Tulfo.
La Rosa is recognized.
Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Mr. President, I stand before you today to co-sponsor PS Resolution number 870, commending the numerous government agencies that were crucial in successfully hosting the 31st annual meeting of the Asia-Pacific Parliamentary Forum at the Philippine International Convention Center in Pasay City, Philippines. The APPF is the Asia's Pacific's premier parliamentary forum that brings together representatives of the people of 28 countries to discuss pressing political, security, and socio-economic issues and challenges of common concern confronting the region. As the Philippine head of delegation, this representation felt a huge honor in hosting this prestigious event, and it would not have been possible without the various government agency support, dedication, hard work, and commitment. From the very start of the event, the government agencies showed their commitment by ensuring the smooth delivery of the program. We can see their work through various aspects such as logistics, security, protocol, hospitality, and accessible assistance if an emergency comes or not. They made sure that this event would be simply seamless and successful. From hindsight, I know that the Department of Foreign Affairs has a massive role in making this event seamless because without their diplomatic efforts and professional expertise in coordinating with their international counterparts, I know it won't be easy to have a successful EPPF. Creating positive international relations and fostering a welcoming environment for the delegates is always commendable. I would also like to express my gratitude for the efforts of the following agencies: the Department of Tourism for the efforts in showcasing the Philippines' rich culture and heritage to our APPF guests, leaving them with a lasting impression of our warm hospitality. The Department of Transportation, the Bureau of Immigration, Manila International Airport Authority, the Philippine National Police for maintaining a safe and orderly environment throughout the event, ensuring the security and well-being of all delegates and participants. Particularly the Japanese delegation, who were very happy to have police escorts wherever they go. The motorcycle cops that were escorting them anywhere they go. The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority for controlling the traffic on the major parts of the roads in Metro Manila in preparation for the event. The Department of Health for its readily prepared measures in preventing the spread of any illness and ensuring the health and well-being of all attendees. National Museum and Tourism Infrastructure and Enterprise Zone Authority for providing assistance including visa issuance, airport arrivals, cultural tours, and security arrangements. The local government units of Manila, Pasay, Parañaque, and other Metro Manila mayors for maintaining cleanliness in their EORs during the event. Also, the Tagaytay LGU and the Office of Senator Tolentino for the extended EPPF 31.5 at Tagaytay City. And of course, I will not fail to mention the Senate officials and staff who helped in securing the success of this event from preparation down to implementation. You are the wind beneath our wings. And I would like to make special mention to our colleagues who composed the drafting committee, especially the chairman, Senator Loren Legarda. Also present there were our majority leader, Senator Joel Villanueva, and Senator J.B. Ercito, who really made wonders, because I attended the last EPPF in Thailand, and every time all the draft resolutions were set aside at the committee, at the working committee level. It doesn't reach to the drafting committee. But what happened here was that they made the impossible. All the draft resolutions were approved at the drafting committee. So palakpakan po natin sila for their efforts, and very commendable effort, Mr. President. To all other government agencies that contributed to the event's success, your combined efforts made a significant difference in showing the capabilities of the Philippines as a host country, strengthening regional cooperation and relationships with the Asia-Pacific. Mr. President, nais ko din pong magbigay pugay sa world-class na ganda ng PICC, albeit medyo matanda na, pero may pagbayabang pa rin natin. Sabi ko nga po sa aking Facebook post, hindi na tayo mag-aatubiling mag-host ng mga internasyonal na prestihiyosong pagtitipon. Maraming salamat, PICC. This success is a significant opportunity for the Philippines because we are showing commitment to international cooperation and diplomacy, which will improve our country's reputation and open up new possibilities for collaboration and partnership in the region. Once again, I express my deepest gratitude and appreciation to all government agencies involved. You earned this commendation for your outstanding contributions to making a lasting impression for the Philippines internationally. And also, I would like to apologize for Senator Coco Pimentel. Nakalimutan ko palang siya pala yung nag-chair ng drafting committee. Vice Chair?
Vice Chair.
Alternate Chair. Alternate Chair. But you were there. You were present all the time. And you made sure that all those draft resolutions passed. Whether paano nyo ginawa yun, hindi ko maisip. Pero salute for your effort. Thank you, Mr. President. Maraming salamat.
Thank you, Senator Bato de la Rosa. Please warn us again if you want us to host another forum like this. Text muna ako, Senator de la Rosa.
Mr. President, we'd like to put on record that our dear colleague Senator Bato de la Rosa was the most famous
Yes.
and sought after chair of the well-loved chair of the country delegation, Mr. President. Mr. President,
I'd just like to add also, I'm sorry, just really quickly, Senator de la Rosa is well loved by Russia. The Russian delegation specifically asked him, together with Senator Coco Pimentel, to visit Russia. And he said that he is very well protected down in Russia and other countries in Southeast Asia, Thailand, Cambodia. Mahal na mahal sa itong mga
he
bansang
did
ito.
very well, Mr. President, in refereeing, Mr. President.
Yes.
All the countries of the world.
Idol
Mr.
siya,
President,
idol.
Mr. President, if I may, just a short. Since there's nobody who made their intentions clear, kung sinong gusto mag-host, nobody accepted the next hosting. Does it mean that we will host again next year, Mr. President?
So, as I mentioned earlier, before we recognize my distinguished star palangga, Senator Pia Cayetano, we raised the bar, I think, very high because initially, Malaysia was willing to accept on the first night, doon sa Malacanang, nag-usap kami. On the second night, doon hosting natin sa BGC Shangri-La, nandun na sila ni Lani Misalucha, tsaka yung mga world-class singers na tinakita natin. Masarap yung pagkain, magaling yung mga staff natin. Sabi sa akin ng Malaysia, how can we do this? How can we do this? And he looked to his wife and he said to his wife, this is very difficult. Ganyan. So, I think speaking to the Malaysian Senate President and Ambassador, they still have to seek clearance from the Prime Minister. Kasi high level na siya. And like what we did, we also seek clearance from the Office of the President. So, I believe what was told to me by the Secretariat or the temporary Secretariat of the APPF is that if there are no countries that are willing to host, it goes back to the original host, which is Japan. Supposed to be Japan. So, I do not know if next year we would have Japan. What it would have been nice though to have an official turnover nung isang araw, no? Pero walang nag-commit pa eh. Walang nag-commit. So yes, Senator Pia Cayetano, the chair of the women's group of the APPF.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I'd just like to commend His Honor, our Senate President, our Head of Delegation, Senator De La Rosa, and everybody who made this a success. I know that there was a lot of work involved. When you hear the candid reports, parang masaya lang. But what I wanted the public to know is that these kind of events may make or break crisis in the future that we will face. Because at the end of the day, these countries are represented by human beings, by people. And no matter what a country stands for, human beings are governed by their emotions. And emotions include deep feelings of friendship, deep trust for certain people. So when we are able to cultivate these kind of relationships, not just with our neighbors, because Asia Pacific includes countries that are not our neighbors. In fact, I was surprised because this is the first Asia Pacific event I've been to that include South American countries. So parang naging Asia Pacific plus plus. I've never attended an Asia Pacific organization of any other sort that included that. So, but it's a bonus. It's a bonus. So these events gave us the opportunity to really cultivate these relationships, and it's very likely that one or more of those who participated over the weekend, who we shared meals with, who we sang songs with, who our colleagues, some colleagues played golf with, will be the future prime minister of their country. And the problems we will face in the future are very scary. Shortage of water, access to our own bodies of water, which we know is a very sensitive issue, use of resources, access to food supplies, and so on and so forth. So to have these good relationships, Mr. President, this is immeasurable, and I thank His Honor for his leadership, because you can go to any negotiating table and walk away with nothing, despite all your good arguments, despite all the universal laws, all the principles, general principles of laws on your side, but you can walk away with nothing. On the other hand, you can walk away with compromises, with deals, with programs that will benefit our people, simply because we forge friendships during this APPF 31. And the past one, and in the future. So I truly commend His Honor for his leadership. Our head of delegation, and there was lots of hard work that had to happen. I know His Honor met with every delegation, talagang pati yung membership natin sa Security Council na pag-usapan, and our Senate President Pro Temp, Senator Lauren Legarda, worked so hard in the drafting committee. It's not easy, Mr. President. I don't know if it was brought up. I don't know if she took the floor. She didn't take the floor, no? But it was not an easy task. Let's put this on record, because there were very strong differences in opinions. China is a member of APPF. They have a different stand on how to handle the West Philippine Seas issue. We have a very strong stand, but we were able to come up with language. Mr. President, if we can replicate what we did in APPF in every other stage, we're going to be better off. Because at the end of the day, through tiyaga, leadership, patience, we were able to find compromises. In my own little way, in the Committee on Women, although we did not talk about security issues, but as we women and gender advocates always say, and I'm looking at our Deputy Minority Floor Leader, when you empower women, you are also able to strengthen all the other sustainable development goals. So we had those similar debates also in the Women's Committee, Mr. President. And we also had from my perspective, makikita niyo po yung alignment of forces during the debates. But I'm also happy to report, which I have reported to the Senate President, that we were also able to resolve it in the same spirit of understanding where one was coming from, taking a pause, and then understanding where the other one is coming from, and then at the end of the day, makikiusap po tayo na okay lang ba na we move forward with the language proposed by this group, and then in the end, pumayag sila. So I think the Philippines has a big role to play, not just now, but in the future on world peace, Mr. President. And again, I thank the President for his leadership and everybody who participated in all their different ways, including and most especially our Secretariat and the agencies, executive agencies that assisted us. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Madam Pia. Thank you so much for your kind words. But I'd just like to share to the body what I shared with Senator Coco and Senator Risa earlier. I think people-to-people participation is really important. I'll tell you why. And kidding aside, the night of our hosting in the Shangri-La, BGC, I had an opportunity to drink with the head of the Chinese delegation. He came to me, I gave all the tables the Don Papa Ram. Sabi ko, let's toast to Filipino-made alcohol. So we gave Don Papa Ram to everybody. They really enjoyed it. And we were already halfway into the drinking session. The Chinese delegation head came to see me, just one-on-one. And I went to one corner with him, and he was talking to me, and he was so thankful that we did not mistreat them. I think what they were expecting was a harsh treatment, or let's say, pabayaan natin sila. Na hindi natin bibigyan ng arrival honors, hindi natin sila bibigyan ng magandang kwarto, hindi natin bibigyan ng magandang facilitation on many things. And he was so thankful that we really took care of him. We had officers, our own political officers called LOs that were taking care of these people. But what I think touched our hearts is when it was just me and him and the interpreter. And I told him, when he thanked me, and he thanked our group for taking care of them, I said, the Filipino people are good people. We are kind and good people. I said, I'm sure the Chinese people are also good people, right? Sometimes the policy is what makes us fight. But at the end of the day, we're good people. And you are good people too. We just want peace in our region. And he stared at me for like 10 seconds while the guy was interpreting. Then he spoke and he said, I agree with you. Then we held hands, 2 hands. I agree with you. Siyempre, nakainom na kami. And alcohol diplomacy. But for the record, and I'd like the public to see this, because that's how it works. Senator Pias is absolutely correct. We join so many forums, but when we don't reach out intrapersonal relationships with these people, when they go back at the end of the day, they have no amor, no love for the country that they had come from or the people that they have met. But in this case, with all of you exerting the efforts of taking care of each and every one of them, pumayag sila doon sa drafting committee. The following day, it was a lot easier, and I believe they were not anymore objecting to, imagine, I mentioned earlier, freedom of navigation and overflight. The respect for UNCLOS in our resolutions is there. That is according to the DFA, that is not a coup de grace, but it was a feat on its own, internationally, diplomatically. It was a win. So let's capitalize on that, and I wish them well, because I'm sure the Chinese people, the mothers there, the fathers, the people, they're also mothers, they're also fathers, they're also children, they're brothers and sisters to their own families. They don't want war, they don't want gulo. Deep inside of them, they want peace across the region and progress. So I think that's what resonated when I talked to him.
Yeah, Mr. President.
Yes, Mr. Senator Bato de la Rosa.
If I may, taking your lead, you want us to become a very gracious host. So, if you have observed during the first night, the dinner at Malacanang, the welcome dinner,
Yes.
kita mo doon yung Chinese delegate, siya lang talaga mag-isa doon sa table niya. Nobody wanted to talk to them. Ang kasama niya, yung interpreter lang niya. But pasalamat tayo, Senator Tolentino was so kind enough to talk to this Chinese delegate. At dinamay pa ako, dinala pa niya ako doon hanggat hindi na ako nakaalis. Dalawa lang talaga kami kausap ng Chinese delegate doon sa table niya. Wala, nobody, even other countries, nobody dared to come close to them. So,
Thank you for
salamat,
that. Thank you for
Tolentino.
making them feel welcome.
Thank you,
But
Mr. President.
at the end of the APPF, nakita nyo ba yung ating group picture, my distinguished colleagues, my majority floor leader? Nakita nyo yung group shot natin, yung naghahawak kamay? Ngayon lang ako nakakita na magkatabi ang Japan, China, and Korea. Naghahawak kamay. Diyan lang yan nangyari yan. Dito lang yan nangyari sa Pilipinas. Sa Pilipinas. So maybe if we can, hopefully God will bless us with that kind of friendship and shared responsibility for our area of the Asia Pacific. Thank you,
Mr.
Majority
President.
Leader.
Mr. President, before I make the necessary motions, may I just put into the records that Senators Legarda and Estrada wanted to insert into the records their co-sponsorship speech. Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, no other member wishes to interpret or propose amendments to the measure. I move that we adopt proposed Senate Resolution number 870, subject to style. I so move, Mr. President.
There being no objection, the motion is approved. Proposed Senate Resolution number 870 is adopted.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. And with the permission of the body, I move that all members of the Senate be made co-authors of this resolution. I so move, Mr. President.
There being no objection, motion is approved. Maybe also do the same for the first resolution.
We did,
Oh, we
Mr.
did?
President.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, at this juncture, I move that we transfer from the calendar for ordinary business to the calendar for special orders, Committee Report number 172 on Senate Bill number 2492. This pertains to the Philippine Maritime Zones Act. I so move, Mr. President.
There being no objection, motion is approved.
Mr. President, I move that we consider Senate Bill number 2492 under Committee Report number 172.
There being no objection, motion is approved.
Mr. President, may we ask the Secretary to read the title of the measure?
Read the title.
An act declaring the maritime zones under the jurisdiction of the Republic of the Philippines.
Mr. President, to sponsor the measure, I move that we recognize the chairperson of the Special Committee on Philippine Maritime and Admiralty Zones to deliver the sponsorship speech, Senator Francis Tol Tolentino. I so move, Mr. President.
The learned, three-time masteral graduate, expert on international law and maritime zones, Senator Tolentino